I've mentioned 1981's Murder Obsession several times over the years on this channel, and I had yet to give it its own video. So that changes today. Let's talk about Murder Obsession. Murder Obsession was directed by Riccardo Freda. It is known by alternate titles such as Murder Syndrome, Fear, or The Wailing. Here's your synopsis. Michael is an actor with a troubled past and a strained family relationship. One day, he's suddenly compelled to visit his mother, who lives in a remote castle, for the first time in years. Michael takes his girlfriend Deborah along and invites some of his cast and crew friends from his current film to meet them there. While there, Michael is forced to confront the darkness of his past, and not everyone will get out of this castle alive. I'm gonna spoil a lot of the movie. I'm not gonna spoil the very, very ending, but I think you should probably watch the movie before you watch this review. It is starring Stefano Patrizzi as Michael, Martine Brochard as Shirley, we have seen her in Eyeball, Henri Garcin as Hans, John Richardson, our boy, as Oliver. We've seen John in lots of things, Black Sunday, Torso, Eyeball. Laura Gimser as Beryl. This is the only movie I've seen with Laura Gimser, although I'm fully aware of who she is. She's very famous for being a Black Emmanuel. Let me know down below if I should watch those. Anita Strindberg as the mom, who apparently is named Glinda. Of course, Anita Strindberg is very famous as well for being in films such as The Case of the Scorpion's Tail, personal favorite of mine, Tropic of Cancer, and Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. Side note, this was Anita Strindberg's last film. This is the last that we see of her. And we also have Sylvia Dionisio as Deborah. Apparently she's in Naked You Die. Don't recognize her in that. So obviously this is quite a cast, am I right? I think, I mean, have you seen this movie? Because a lot of people are telling me they have not seen it. I think it's perhaps underrated, if for no other reason than this cast. So according to Wikipedia, several of the actors did not have a good time shooting this film. And apparently Freda himself is not proud of this. But I gotta say, I really like this movie, which is why I do rewatch it often and reference it a lot on this channel. The setting of this film, like I said, is a remote castle surrounded by forest, down a really long drive, blocked off by a gate, and its two inhabitants, Glinda and her help, Oliver, are locked up in there, like forgotten. They're almost like ghosts themselves. The building is in a lot of disrepair. Power it goes out a lot. It's just kind of like a finicky, crumbly building at this point. And this is honestly just a dream of a setting. So let's talk a little bit about the story. The film kicks off with a very Giallo-esque scene. We see Laura Gimser in her home, and she is suddenly brutally attacked by a killer. Turns out these are actors, they're shooting a movie. So Michael Mustache is our main character. I don't think I've seen him in anything else, but in this movie he's just very blank, like eyes glaze over, blank face. So he's not really giving us much, although I think it's appropriate in this movie because we're not supposed to be able to really know what Michael is thinking, really know what Michael is up to. We're supposed to have a little bit of distrust for him. So I guess in that way it works. I just have to mention the next scene. We have Michael in his house, and he is playing guitar and singing. First of all, it sounds really bad, but second of all, he's strumming, but the music doesn't match what he's doing. Like, they didn't even try. That was just incredibly hilarious, really. So the movie is not without some giggles. Yeah, and then all of a sudden Michael's like, I should go visit my mom. He hasn't visited his mom in years and years and years. All of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna go. So he scoops up Deborah and off they go. When they get to the castle, it's already dark, And Oliver, John Richardson, comes up and greets them with a creepy lantern. He's very creepy. He's kind of like Lurch-like, you know what I mean? He's like, the power is out. He also informs Michael, like, hey, just so you know, your mom is like super sick. Oscar shows them to their rooms, and in comes Mom into Michael's room, and she's just thrilled, and she starts kissing all over him, and it seems a little romantic. Okay, I was like, there's just no way that Anita Strindberg is old enough to be this dude's mom. So I looked it up. She was approximately 44 in 1981, and Stefano, the son, guy playing the son, was approximately 31. So she can't really be his mom. But like I've always said, Anita has a very like matriarchal look. So she gives like mom energy even when she's like super young. I'm trying to figure out what they did to her to make her look older. It kind of looks like they just like put real matte powder on her face and made her look kind of chalky, and then she has like bushy eyebrows. And somehow that makes her seem old enough to be Michael's mom. Deborah and Glinda don't get along. Like I said, kind of seems maybe like mom and son are in love a little bit, so it's probably natural that the mom doesn't like this girlfriend. And then I believe it's the next day, the rest of Michael's friends come. So that evening, everyone's dressed real nice because they're dressed for dinner, but it looks like they're having after dinner drinks in the parlor. And they're just chit-chatting about the occult, voodoo, the supernatural, you know, just normal things. And Michael is just eyeing Beryl, Laura Gemser. He is just, you know? And I'm like, your girlfriend is right here, bruh. But why am I surprised? These movies are always like that. That night, we get this strange ghost POV. And then we see these like wet footprints, like form on the floor in the hallway, but there's like no feet. So it's like ghost footprints. That night, Beryl, Laura Gemser, is in the bath, and a black-gloved killer tries to drown her in the bath. I mean, there's people everywhere. There's people in all the adjoining rooms. It's crazy. But yeah, the killer gets interrupted and they slip away, and Beryl gets to live. And we all got to see her in the bath. The next morning, Deborah tells Michael about this batshit dream that she had, okay? And we get to relive the dream with her. Long story short, she's going down the stairs into this dungeon with her boob out. Oh, she's getting chased. She's getting chased by someone. And it's just this whole trippy psychedelic thing. Bats, giant spiders, cobwebs, zombie things, a windstorm, skulls crying blood. It's crazy. It is so cool. The dream culminates in Deborah being tied to a cross, but it's more like an X, by a cult, by a satanic cult, that they're doing some sort of ritual on her. This nightmare is wonderful for the movie. It adds so much atmosphere. It's very Halloween-y, very gothic. So Deb tells Michael this whole story. Okay, she's scared, and Michael's like, we're going for a drive, you don't have to come, and leaves. What? Why did you bring me here, sir, if you don't want to hang out with me? So anyway, Hans, Michael, Shirley, and Beryl, they go for a little stroll in the woods. You know, wearing heels, wearing all white. That's what you wear in the woods, right? It's a beautiful place, actually. So Michael takes them to his little, like, place he used to play as a kid, and there's a waterfall and stuff. It's lovely. So then Michael opens up and talks a little bit about his past. Something I haven't even mentioned until now is that Michael's father is dead. Michael's mom is a widow. I mean, you could probably gather that, but Michael tells us that, well, he's the one that killed his father. When he was a little boy, he blacked out and killed him. Spent a lot of time in therapy just trying to get better. So then later on, when Michael's alone with Beryl, she's like, so were you trying to kill me the other day on set? And Michael's like, maybe, I don't know. And then they bang. I guess they just passed out afterwards. Later on, Michael wakes up and Beryl has been gutted. And Michael's holding a bloody knife. From there, basically, more and more members of the party are going missing or turning up dead. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna get into more of the spoilery stuff. So, I think you should be able to skip ahead if you don't want to know more of the details. I'm not going to tell you the last scene, but I'm going to get you up to that point. Basically, there comes a certain point where Michael is like freaking out. He's like, I'm killing everybody. I'm killing everybody. I don't even remember doing it. So he goes to his mom and he's like, Mom, help me. And then finally she's like, you haven't killed anyone, Michael. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, you didn't kill your father, Michael. I mean, maybe, did you see this coming? I don't know. Long story short, Mom says, your dad was unfaithful. I put up with it for you. And Oliver was in love with her and began forcing himself upon her. And then one day the dad came home and caught them. And Oliver is the one that killed the dad. Michael runs off to go confront Oliver about this, and Oliver is dead by his own hand. But he had a tape recorder set up to start playing, and then Oliver told his side of the story. He says, your mother is a monster of evil. Basically, according to Oliver, Mom seduced Oliver and then planned it so that Dad would walk in on them. It is Mom who killed Dad and then blamed Michael. She's like, Michael! So she stabbed the dad, then Michael came in and she's like, why'd you do this, Michael? And he's like, I guess I did it. Furthermore, Oliver says that the reason why Michael was spontaneously compelled to come visit is because his mom was doing black magic and Oliver has psychic powers. What? Psychic? Something supernatural? Call the Giallo police! And remember that nightmare that Deb had? Turns out it wasn't a dream, it was real. And while Michael is learning all this, he has the blankest face. Great. And that is where I'll stop with this story. So there are still a few surprises if you have yet to see the movie. I did not spoil everything. The tone of this film is pretty vicious, okay? Really, it's not a feel-good movie, just like your Vice. It's not a feel-good movie. It's bleak. It's rather a serious film, although there are a few things you could laugh at. It's a film that goes certain directions where you're like, they didn't have to do that. Like, they didn't have to go this way, but they did. And it's another downer of a movie. But this is one that I love. So why do I love this film? I feel like one of the main factors for me is the atmosphere. When I'm thinking like about watching Murder Obsession, when I get a little itch to watch Murder Obsession, it's mostly because I want to be in this thunderstormy castle with devil worshippers and rats and bats and cats. And there are parts of the film that are unintentionally funny, like Deb running around for an extended period of time with a boob out, or these ridiculous giant spiders. The atmosphere is definitely the thickest, bulkiest part of this movie. It's really, they really go hard with it. And while the story, I think the overall story is good, they just give you so much like psychedelic disorientation, confusion, that you do have just no choice but to soak it all in. Here are some of the themes in the movie worth touching on. Incest is there. Music. I didn't mention this yet, but Michael's father was a famous conductor. So music is throughout the film. And there's, you know, they don't play music in the castle ever since Dad died. And the score itself in the movie has kind of like a classical piano kind of vibe to it. Although when it's not doing that, it is doing this creepy, eerie, synthy thing that I love. Like I already mentioned, we have the occult and supernatural and black magic and things like that in the film. This surrealism that makes you feel like you're losing your grip, you know? And this madness and manipulation, Michael just believes he's a murderer because that's what they told him. They told him he is, so he's like, okay, I guess you're right. So he does act that out at times. He doesn't trust himself. That's a crazy way to be brought up. As for the sex and violence in this movie, this is a very sleazy movie. The nude scenes, I feel like you just get a real good look. It's the scenes are either really long or really well lit and just very confronting. So this is probably one of the sleazier Jolly. It's a raunchy movie with some good violent bits as well. So now let's look at the Giallo Checklist. I haven't looked at this yet. Childhood trauma, yes. Gloves, yes. J&B, I think so. No cops, just no cops at all. Fluorescent blood, yeah. Smoking, I think so. Red herring, I would say so. Gaslighting. Bathtubs, yes. Okay, after looking at this list, there's a lot that this film has going on. It's not, you know, it's not your typical like urban glam Giallo. If I were to put this movie in a 3-pack with 2 other films that I think would complement it, I decided I would do Short Night of Glass Dolls and All the Colors of the Dark. You see what I'm doing here? In conclusion, if you haven't seen Murder Obsession yet, you should check it out. It's an interesting little movie, and if you're a sucker for the gothic and some good Halloween-y atmosphere, this might be right up your alley. Thank you so much for watching. I want to take a moment to thank my members. I do have memberships now on this channel just to offer a little extra for y'all. Thank you, Laserbeak. Thank you, Jordan C. Thank you, Sabrina A. Thank you, David M. Thank you, Chompador, aka Chompy. And thank you, Paul. I'm so excited to have y'all. And you too. Thank you too. All right, that's it. Ciao.